When it comes to packaging your purchase orders for your customers, you want to make sure that obviously your art products arrive without any bends, without any dents, without any doggy ears, without being wet or warped or any kind of humidity and so forth. You want everything that you've created to arrive as beautiful as it looks in your product photos. So in this video, I want to talk to you all about packaging your art for shipment. The first thing I want to talk to you about is how to actually package your art prints. So say you sell any kind of two-dimensional art. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open one of my art prints to show you exactly how I would package it. First and foremost, I'm going to package it in a protective plastic sleeve. These I actually purchased online at clearbags.ca. That's where I purchased mine. This is all listed in your resources guide, by the way, so if I forget to mention anything, you can see everything there. These are 11 by 14. Actually, they're a little bit bigger than that. I think they're actually 12 by 15 to be able to hold an 11 by 14 print. You can buy these in bulk, which is what I encourage you to do with all of your packaging supplies, because the more you buy, the cheaper it gets. So obviously don't go crazy with it, but if you can buy something at a better price and you know you're going to be selling quite a few of them, I encourage you to buy them in bulk. The next thing I would encourage you to purchase for sure if you're selling any kind of two-dimensional art is corrugated cardboard. This is what corrugated cardboard is, okay? This is the backing sheets that we put behind our art to make sure that it stays flat and that it's not going to be bent when it's shipped. You can find different depths of these and thicknesses. I like this one because this one is really hard to bend. There are thinner versions and there's different types of ones. I like this one because it's still light. Like if I actually weigh this, it's basically air. So you don't want to add weight. Other people use chipboard. I feel like that's a mistake because it's heavier. So I would encourage you to use corrugated cardboard. I buy these at uline.com and these are excellent. You can buy a variety of different sizes. No matter what, you want to make sure that these are obviously the size of your art piece or they're larger. So if your art piece is smaller, that's fine because it's still going to be within the corners. You obviously want to make sure that it's not any larger than your corrugated cardboard, if I can talk. Then that way it's not going to have any doggy ears by the time it gets to it. So what I would do is I would take my art print, because that's what I sell, and I have a feeling many of you will probably be selling some form of art print or maybe originals or one-of-a-kinds or your limited editions. I would line it up with the corrugated board and I would then slip it into, the plastic, like so. Now you'll notice the plastic does have a sealable, it's a resealable closer. So I would close that up. Actually, wait, no, I wouldn't close that up. I would actually I always include my informational sheet, okay? This is an informational sheet that's got a bit of my story written on it. It's got a photo of me. It's got all of my my information. It's got my URL for my personal website. And it's also got my Etsy shop, so encouraging them to visit again. And it's also got all my social media links. So I put that on here, on the back. And I close it up. I usually always seal this again. Oops, it's looking crooked. I always seal it again with my with a piece of packaging clear tape. You can use funky, cool tapes if you want, totally up to you. If that works with your brand, go for it. So there you go. This is the way the print would be received to my customer. Now, if I'm not going to use the informational sheet, I will use a promotional. And what I would do then is actually showcase some of my upcoming, maybe a sale I'm doing, or maybe I'm promoting something that's coming out at Christmas season. Maybe I have a special Mother's Day packaging that I'm doing. This is where you can actually showcase some specials, some sales. You might want to include a coupon code here to encourage people to come back. We're always trying to encourage people to come back to our online shop. And so that's where I would include things like that. I've written here again, even if I'm doing a promotional piece of paper in the back, I will always have my logo. I will have my website, my Etsy shop, and my other URLs associated with social media. I want people to stay connected to me. And that's what you want as well. You want people to stay connected. What I will also do is I will take my lovely thank you card. So maybe this is my I love you card. And I will put that in an envelope with a handwritten note. Okay. So let's just pretend that's sealed. Obviously, I would seal it. Okay. And I would then attach that to the front of my piece. I would tape it there. I always hand write the person's name in hand lettering. That's what I do. You may want to do it with watercolors. You may want to just write it with a pen really nicely. Whatever you want to do. But just write their name. That's what I would do anyway on the front of the envelope so that they feel like they're getting a gift. This is like a gift for them coming in the mail. Okay. I would attach that with a clear piece of tape. Again, you can use specialty tapes. You can have fun with the tapes and colors. This is all about your branding. Okay. So this is just what I do. Then I would then attach that and I would place this entire thing inside of what I call a rigid mailer. Rigid mailers you can purchase online on Amazon. I have the link and the information as well in the resources guide. These are called rigid mailers because they're obviously rigid. They're hard, okay? They're like cardboard. The thing I love about these is that they're actually sealable, so you don't have to actually apply tape if you don't want to. So they actually just peel this off and it can then be closed down and you just squeeze it down and it closes really firm. So that's what I would do. I would actually go ahead and put this with my card attached on the front. And I'd actually put this into the envelope. Okay, so let's put it all inside. Obviously, it's not going to be so messy like how I'm doing right now. It's going to be beautifully taped together, looking lovely. And then I would go ahead and seal it. Okay, seal it really tight. I always go the extra mile and add another piece of tape on the outside. The reason why is because I'm obsessed with making sure nothing gets wet inside of this envelope. To me, this envelope needs to be like a rock, so sturdy. It has to be totally protected. And so I'm willing to go the extra mile, add a bit of tape here and there to keep it really protected from any moisture getting inside. Now on the outside of my envelope, I've actually included a stamp. This is really fun. You can order these online. I will actually include this in the resources guide as well. And this is where you can actually create your own customized logo stamp. This was my old one. I actually have changed it since then, but because I've actually changed my address as well, so this wouldn't really make sense for me to apply this as a, because it works also as a return address if you have a stamp on there. You just stamp them and you don't have to write out your return address. And then I would write on here with a beautiful hand letter writing the person's name and their address, really cleanly written, and that's pretty much it. Now, if you did not want to do a stamp, you could also make stickers. This is actually my husband's music-related sticker. You could apply a sticker there. Just something cool to let it know or let your customer know that this is coming from you as a person, as an artist. I find when you make your art package stand out, it's a bit more exciting and it gives your customer something else to talk about you about. So for example, a lot of times I find my customers will talk about the fact that they received the package so lovely. It was a beautiful packaging. It had hand lettering of their art. And I will oftentimes also include a secondary little goodie inside, maybe a card or an extra print. That's just something that I do, which I talk about in the over delivery section. But that to me is an important way to just connect with my customer and to let them know that I really appreciate every order that comes in my door and I hope that they come back again soon. So that's how I do my packaging for my physical prints on a flat mailer. Now there's also a secondary way to do packaging, and that is with an art tube. Now I love using art tubes for my larger orders. This is what I use for my orders that are for 18 by 24 prints. So maybe you are selling larger scale art. I find tubes sell, or they actually work better because for a larger scale, it's harder to ship a flat anything when it's large. You have to usually roll it if it can possibly be rolled. Now some originals and one of a kinds may not be able to be rolled, but for things like prints, posters, gig posters, things like that, you can use a mailer. Now what I would do is I'd obviously, let me open it up here. As you can see, it's quite a large size mailer, and this is a really tough material that cannot be dented or bent pretty much at all. I mean, I guess if you really had somebody bend it, they could try, but obviously they're not going to. When you take this to your post office, you can have them just place do not bend stickers on everything that you're sending, just so that people know this is sensitive materials. I've also included on here my stamp, so you can have your stamp be included on your tube. And when I'm closing in anything, and by the way, this is actually big enough to host more than just art prints or paper products. You can also roll up a t-shirt to stick in here. When I've had orders of both t-shirts and prints, I've put the prints in, and sometimes the prints only reach about here. And then I've actually rolled up my t-shirt and just stuck it in here. Everything you put inside your mailer, though, guys, make sure you're also using a plastic sleeve or a plastic bag to put to seal whatever you're putting inside your tube. I think that's a given, but I want to make sure to state that in case anybody was wondering. Now, you're going to seal your tube, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to line your tube with packaging tape, and you're going to squish it down all around. So you could even do that twice to make sure that there's no water getting in or out of, well, not out, but getting in of your art tube. So those are the ways that I package my art for shipment. Obviously, depending on what you make, there may be some slight adjustments there, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on what I would do there. Now, if I'm also doing a tube, another thing quickly is I would also, if I'm going to attach a thank you card, you can also just attach it on the outside in its envelope. Oops, my envelope has gone away. But you can attach it in your envelope and just roll it around and just attach it on the outside. So this is another way to attach your thank you note, and just tape the top and the bottom and they'll still get it, no problem. It'll be a bit on a rounded side, but that's okay. The fact that you're sending a thank you note is something to be noteworthy for your customers, and they would really love that, so I encourage you to do that. So that's it, guys, how to ship how to package your art for shipment. I hope that's been helpful to you guys, and let's move on to the next section.